The war in Europe was almost over. German forces were collapsing, and for many Allied airmen, the skies had finally calmed. But on April 23, 1945, just days before victory, the 381st Bombardment Group would face one tragic heartbreak. A tragedy striking not over enemy territory, but on a hillside, shrouded in mist, on the Isle of Man. For months, these men had battled flak, fighters, and frigid skies over Nazi Germany. Now, they were promised something simple: rest. A group of 31 officers and enlisted men, many veterans from the earliest days of the unit in Peyote, Texas, climbed aboard a B-17G aircraft. Their destination, Belfast, Ireland, for much-deserved R&R. The pilot was Captain Charles Ackerman of the 534th Bomb Squadron. Skilled, experienced, and trusted. Weather reports said skies were clear that morning. But the Irish Sea holds its secrets. The Isle of Man rises from the ocean like a stone fortress. Its second highest mountain, North Barrule, often hides in sudden clouds. The aircraft was performing a passenger flight, taking 29 personnel on a week's leave to Northern Ireland. The passengers were all armorers, fitters, ground crew, and mechanics of various squadrons and support units of the 381st Bomb Group. Many of them had been at RAF Ridgewell since the 381st Bomb Group had arrived in June 1943. 2 pilots brought the total on board to 31. The aircraft took off from RAF Ridgewell for RAF Nuts Corner at 8 o'clock, with an estimated time of arrival of 11 o'clock. At 10:15, the B-17 was off the northeast coast of the Isle of Man, flying at an altitude of 500 feet. At 10:20, the aircraft flew into the east side of the 1,842 feet high North Barrule and exploded in a fireball. The accident was heard by a tractor driver working at a nearby farm of Margery Q, Marfold. All 31 people on board were killed, making this the deadliest aviation accident in the Isle of Man. Personnel from RAF Andreas recovered the bodies to that base for identification. On the 24th of April, a Boeing B-17E Flying Fortress from RAF Ridgewell arrived, bringing the base commander Colonel Conway Scott Hall. He was told that arrangements for the repatriation of the bodies would take some days as diplomatic channels with the Manx government had to be gone through. Hall decided this would take too long, and the deceased were flown back to RAF Ridgewell on the 25th of April. A minor diplomatic incident was caused, but nothing came of it. The victims of the accident were buried at Madingley Cemetery, Cambridgeshire, United Kingdom. The crash devastated the 381st Bomb Group. These were friends, brothers in arms, men who had survived the worst the war could offer. One squadron commander later said, "This hit where it hurt most." And it did. Their remains were recovered and flown to Cambridge American Military Cemetery aboard a B-17 nicknamed Little Rocket. An aircraft with its own legacy, having flown the first 8th Air Force heavy bomber mission back in 1942. On April 27, 1945, just 4 days later, a solemn memorial service was held. War coming to a close, but grief still fresh. 50 years later, in 1995, citizens of the Isle of Man erected a plaque at the crash site, a lasting tribute to the Americans who never made it home. The inscription honors not only these 31 men, but all who were lost in the surrounding hills during flight operations. It's a reminder that even when conflicts fade from memory, sacrifice remains carved into the land. As victory neared, these men dreamed of peace, a weekend away, laughter with friends, and life beyond war. Instead, the quiet mountains of the Isle of Man became their final resting place. Heroes, whose story should never be forgotten. To the 31 airmen of the 381st Bomb Group, we remember you.